Alrighty, welcome back. I am Kaila Henry.
I'm Kathy Zalewski.
And we're realtors over at Realty One Group Peak in Bozeman, Montana. We've been putting together some seller series, and this is kind of part of our long format Q&A. And today we're talking about marketing, kind of beyond the MLS and all the things we do for our clients to market their home when we're bringing it to property.
Right.
So I think first and foremost, I want to talk about photos. To
Yep.
me, your online presence is your best or most important aspect of it because so much of today's society happens on computers or phones.
And yeah, so everybody begins their home search online. Like you're sitting there on Friday and the kids are screaming and you're like, boy, we need a bigger house. And what do? You go to one of the big names, maybe Realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin, whatever. We all know as agents, we know you all use those sites. So you go on there and you start looking. So yes, the way that your house appears online is super important. We can't overstate that. And that goes back to our video on prepping your home for sale.
Can we say it one more time?
Prep your home for sale. So you get one shot at having the great pictures. And I will say personally, and Kaila, I imagine will agree, it's really a bummer when I show up with the photographer on whatever day that we have agreed upon and your house isn't ready. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I didn't get to clean the blinds. I'm talking about like you didn't prepare your house for sale. Okay. Because
so that's something that when we meet with you for a listing appointment, we're going to make abundantly clear. And if you have questions, again, as you're prepping your home for sale, call us. I would always rather have somebody ask me, like, should I get rid of this piece or should I not? You know, like we always just would rather have those questions asked up front because when the photographer comes, they're professional photographers. You should always have professional photography for your home, no matter what condition, no ifs, ands, or buts. If it's a tear down, we're doing professional photography.
Right. Vacant.
It's non-negotiable.
Even if the carpet is gross, we're still getting professional photography.
And that's a realtor's expense. So that's an expense as your listing agent I'm paying for. You're not responsible for that. But it really is so important to have that home ready to be photographed because again, they're professional photographers. They move quick. They set up their lights, they get their camera out, and they start moving through a home. And well, yes, I always like to show up and meet somebody at my listings to make sure that it looks how I want it to. I do occasionally, not occasionally, frequently, I will still move things. I will still tuck a few things in drawers. Of course, I'm always letting my sellers know where I put things, but I'm still going to go through and put my finishing touches on it from my eye with what I know we want to see in the photos.
Right.
But again, I can't be moving sofas or remaking beds or, I mean, this is the most important piece and often the biggest push.
Right. And this is probably one of the only pieces where we're actually asking for your help. The rest of it, we kind of do all, but how the photos turn out, that's what we use in every other subsequent piece of marketing.
Yeah.
Not just our local MLS. That is the way it appears nationally, internationally. So don't take that lightly. And yeah, I'm with Kaila. I usually show up like if the photos are say on Wednesday, I come over on like Saturday or Sunday beforehand and okay, no, you still need to get rid of this piece and you need to get all that stuff off the kitchen counter and don't forget to take all the soap out of the shower and don't, all of that kind of stuff. Reminders, I make lists, I leave the list behind. If I come then on Wednesday with the photographer and none of that stuff is done, I'm probably going to ask the photographer to leave because it is that important. We will delay putting your home on the market until it's right.
For your best interests.
Yeah.
Right? That's in your best interest. So please take it seriously, I guess.
Yeah.
Because again, those photos, like Kathy said, we're uploading them to the MLS. And so, of course, they're going out to the MLS. But then the MLS is also how we do the IDX feeds to Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, Homes.com, all the things. So again, really important. And I think, the MLS, obviously, mostly agents are using that. But I think a really key piece to understand and something I really like to share with my clients is from the MLS. Yes, obviously a lot of people are searching on, again, those public sites, but a really cool thing about the MLS that to me is maybe misunderstood. Again, agents who are working with buyers, I know for my buyers, I have a home search set for them through the MLS. Number one, I want them to see listings as soon as it comes on the market. There can occasionally be a bit of a lag with those public sites. It's usually pretty quick, but again, fastest from the MLS. And then number two, I want to see those homes for my buyers as well. So for you, looking at it from the seller's eyes, and for me as a listing agent, I really want to make sure that those photos are dialed and again look great, because those buyers that are seeing things through the MLS, we know that they're hopefully vetted because they're working with an agent, so they might be pre-approved, or they're at least dialed enough to be looking with an agent. And then I also want agents to be seeing the home and thinking of all the buyers they have for your home.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So very important for, again, those public sites to look nice, but I think the MLS really serves as a really key piece as well, because you know that those people are, again, really dialed and working with professionals and are
With agents.
serious.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I think also dialing in on that, something that you've kind of brought to my attention, Kathy, so we've been looking at AI stuff, is being really mindful with the description. And so I know that you kind of shared a lot of people are maybe looking for a bedroom with a southern window if you want a lot of sunshine, or maybe, you know, a driveway so that you're not having to deal with a ton of ice.
Right. So if you're not doing this, if you're a seller and potentially a buyer, I imagine that you're already doing this. But when people are not necessarily, not that they're not using Zillow anymore to look for homes, but Zillow or any search engine online has uh, limitations, right? There's boxes that you check. I want 3+ bedrooms. I want this. I want that. I need, a single story. I need whatever. What is cool about using AI as your real estate search engine is that you can say, I want a home with southern facing mountain views. I want the garage to be, a side load, and I want, hardwood, I want maple hardwood floors. Okay. So while those might all be in the description of the property, the only way that it will be found is through using an AI search engine, because I don't get to check maple hardwood floors. I don't, there is no, in our MLS, there's no side entry garage button for me to click. I can't sort your property that way. Now, buyers out there can. So actually, this whole writing our descriptions is no longer a set it and forget it. And, I don't know. It used to be like, look at this lovely abode with its expansive blah 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 and like all these nice filler words. Nope, we're going for the meat now. We want to put in there what we think buyers are going to be most attracted to about the home.
And that to me is a very new development, right? AI is pretty new, but again, something like, as real estate professionals, we want to be on top of, aware of, and ahead of,
right,
with our descriptions and being thoughtful.
We want to market, we want the best chance of marketing your home to the person that's looking for it.
Yeah.
Right. So the more we know and the more descriptive, not flowery, but actual descriptive. The home faces east, and there is a stream that runs through it, and it has a 3-car garage that is also heated, and we might be able to click some of those buttons. But if we say it's all epoxy floor, like whatever, all these little details, that AI will pick up. But Zillow, etc., you can't weed those out.
You might not be able to. So again, in marketing, just know that as your agents, we are thinking about all of those things and also trying to stay ahead of the curve as technologies develop.
Yeah.
And so something, again, on my photos that looks so lovely, because my seller did such a great job of prepping her home, I am now able to say, check out this lovely window. You really have a tree house-like feel because there's mature trees through this west-facing window. And I'm putting all those descriptions on my photos now, knowing that AI will hopefully pick that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a big part of photography these days as well is drone photography. So again, we've talked about it in a number of our videos, but people moving to Bozeman, you're not just buying a house, you're coming here for a lifestyle or for work. So you want to know, or for school, MSU, right? You want to know where your location is and where is it situated in town. So to me, really key piece is getting that really lovely drone photography that shows the bridges in the background, how close it is to downtown, or the fact that it's on a park in this gorgeous subdivision, whatever, all of those things.
And going back to what we just talked about, those drone photos will flatten everything out. So saying on an incline or overlooking this, or maybe you want to say steep hill, maybe you don't. But being able to give a description that, again, maybe the photos don't show, but will get picked up by AI, an AI search engine. Again, these are the things that we think about that maybe you're not thinking about.
Yep.
That's why
professionals.
We are who we are. Yeah.
I think another piece that's been really cool lately, and maybe it's not totally new technology, but I guess depending on how long you've been in the business, it is. Virtual staging to me has been one of my favorite tools. I think it really just helps a vacant house shine, mostly because you can put great looking furniture in there. But then I still do really love having an empty house, because then people can imagine their stuff in it. I think you want the photos to sing, which means having nice furniture in there. So fortunately, virtual staging can do that for us. So it helps people paint a picture.
It helps
But
them
then,
get the virtual staging is really high tech actually, because it helps them. It is sized. It is to scale, so it helps you get an idea of how big a room is, right? Like if you want, if you virtually stage a king bed in a bedroom and it looks too big, then you can use a queen bed, and you can. So it helps give scale to a vacant house, which otherwise might be really difficult to show.
I think one thing to be really careful with, though, that has been recently brought to my attention is virtual staging. To me, is okay for furniture, because typically furnishings do not convey, right? However, I am absolutely not going to ask my photographer to repaint the exterior of your home if your home needs a paint job, or to add new
Mature
trees
trees.
or bushes in front of your home when they are in fact not there, because that to me is misleading.
Yeah.
That to me is a misrepresentation of your property, and I wouldn't want you, the seller, to be liable to purchase mature trees and install them, which
Right.
I do think
You
there could be a case
misrepresented.
for.
Right.
I think that there could be a case for that. So I think just being really mindful about how you are applying these technologies, using them to your fullest advantage, but also not getting too carried away, because again, we need to be very transparent and realistic about what we are selling.
Right. Absolutely.
I think floor plans too are a really great thing to add in. I think that's helpful again for people to just kind of get a sense for the space. And then I do know once we're under contract, oftentimes I will have buyer's agents asking me for them. Floor plans always get lost through the decades of time. Even if you have a new home, they're also very large. They're not really in format. And I find that buyers like to have floor plans, so that they can maybe plan out some furniture. Yeah. Yeah. And again, hopefully they're not buying that furniture on credit beforehand, but
No.
we want to be able to give them those floor plans. And so that's something we like to provide as well. Again, you don't have to do anything for them. That's something we're taking on, but something that's we're often asked for.
And I think, again, in particular in the Bozeman market, where homes are unique and buyers will fly into town and spend the weekend looking at homes and write an offer and then not be back until close day, to have the floor plan to be able to kind of do that planning and everything makes it even more important. Or if they're not here yet, they might eliminate something because, hey, we don't want the primary bedroom on the second floor. We don't want the primary bedroom next
Yeah.
to the nursery. We don't, whatever it is, it just helps them kind of get a feel for how the house is put together. And so those are become a really important part of marketing your home.
Yeah. And so those to me are a lot of the things that you're doing kind of before bringing it live. But then once we have a listing agreement signed, we'll start pre-marketing your home, right? So once I have that listing agreement signed, I am already probably going to start talking to the agents in my office, seeing if they maybe have a buyer, hopefully drumming up some interest, and just kind of putting the word out there a little bit. We can only talk about it under some certain things. I'm not going to bore you with the rules we have to follow, but just know that we're going to do our best to generate some interest beforehand and see if we can make this even less painful for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think going along with that, one thing that I have done traditionally, I am a big believer that people want their friends and family to live close to them. So when I get a listing in a neighborhood, I want that neighborhood to know as quickly as possible that I've got a listing. Not necessarily that, but there's a home for sale in the neighborhood. So either door knocking, this is maybe even in advance of any open houses that I would do, but getting the information out to them about that there's a house for sale in the neighborhood. I actually, almost every time I do this, I get a phone call that, oh, my daughter's looking for a home in the neighborhood. Can you tell me more about it? Can we get in to see it? What's the price? Blah, blah, blah. Because people want that jump on something when they know it's special. So that's another part of marketing that I do, that is kind of a behind the scenes thing that has nothing to do with the MLS.
Yeah, and can be really effective, right? It certainly doesn't hurt. I know for me, I tend to like to take my listings live on Tuesdays. There's a very specific reason for that, and that is because a lot of the offices in our area do Tuesday meetings. So I find Mondays can be busy. Some people are maybe still coming back from the weekend. Yeah, who knows? Not a lot of agents are in front of their computers, but on Tuesdays, all the offices in town have their Tuesday meetings. And then usually the agents are in front of their computers and checking on things on Tuesday. So I usually, same thing, like to bring our listings live sometime Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, so that I know it's getting in front of the most eyes at the most time. I also like to do that because we will bring our office through before going live. So again, trying to get some people to have a little bit of a jump on it, and just getting the realtors' opinions on, pricing, staging, anything like that. I think it can be really helpful to have obviously multiple realtors give you advice, even though we've been doing this a long time and at that point feel very good about what we're bringing to market. Still never hurts. I have had occasionally some people mention something and I'm like, you know what? I didn't even think about it.
Right.
Thank you so much. Let's get ahead of it.
Yep.
So that's where I like to go live on Tuesdays. We bring it to market on Tuesdays. Maybe I'm doing an open house that weekend. I sometimes like to let a home get some traction. I think really for me, whether I'm doing an open house that weekend or not depends, number one, on, again, what is the seller schedule? How hard or how easy is it for them to vacate? And then two, I really like to look at weather and what's going on. So I'm doing an open house this weekend for a condo we just brought on the market. And I'm doing it this weekend because next weekend's the Super Bowl and nobody's going to be coming to open houses. So I would like to get a jump on that more so than letting it hang out there.
Right.
So really can still be a case by case, even though, again, some strategy behind it as well.
And one thing I do with the open houses is I do invite the 100 closest neighbors. I send them something in the mail, you're invited, or I door knock and drop off a flyer. But again, it's that whole neighborhood deal that I think works really well and is really effective, because people will tell their friends and family, hey, this house in our neighborhood just came on the market.
Because who better to help sell your home than
the people that live there and love the neighborhood
as well. Yeah. So
yeah.
I think it's a great resource to tap into.
Yeah. We of course, both Kaila and I would do listing video, and we put that not only on our social media but each on our own YouTube channels. So let's face it, social media is real, and again, that's one more thing where if a lot of times I will also have my seller share on Facebook, like within their neighborhood Facebook page or whatever. Hey, and so that's me asking the seller for help again, but it is another way to expose more people in that neighborhood to the fact that your homes come on the market.
And I think, again, hopefully, as a seller, you're proud of how your home looks, right? We always want to get that professional photography and videography so that it does look really nice and good, so you can feel good about putting it out there to your friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. I think that while this is kind of touches the surface of the marketing things that we do, there are certainly, every home is different, and some homes require a different level of marketing, or is more niche, and so we have to really focus and target market certain things. I had a home this summer that happened to end up, the home was ADA compliant. It ended up that the buyer needed that kind of home. It wasn't, that was probably a one in, I don't know, 100,000 kind of shot that actually happened.
Yeah.
Of course, anybody could have lived in the home, but it just worked out that this was a really necessary thing. And so that, again, could require some niche marketing. Homes, different types of marketing for, let's say, a property that's been grandfathered in for Airbnb.
Yeah.
Right? That would be a different set of buyers that we could market to specifically. So marketing is a tool that we have, and it's many layers deep, and it's can be very, very customized. So,
and I think piggybacking off of that, it just sparked something for me. Again, so customizable. So we had a townhome listed on North Wilson, part of the Wilson 16 development. And it's a very unique product in that it's a townhome with an attached ADU. And so I'm looking at it, yes, probably want to put that under residential, right? You're going to live there. It's a residential unit. But I can also then cross-list it in the MLS under multifamily because there's 2 units there. I can also put it in there as some sort of an investment listing because you can. An investor could be a great investment for it. So really looking at each property specifically and putting your mind to what is the full and total potential of this place, how do we capitalize it, and how do we get that word out there for them?
Right. Yeah. How many different types of people can we put this in front of? And that is a tremendous way to do that. I also, in Four Corners, I had like a live work condo thing.
Yeah.
And so those are really interesting.
Such a cool product though.
Yeah. But also requires a different kind of level of marketing. Very interesting. But again, the MLS is like the very first baby step. Like,
Baby
it
step,
doesn't
but
even come close to like what we put into making sure that your home gets as visible as possible.
yeah, but I think too, it's also to me such a baby step, but such a crucial step because again, the MLS is for the professionals working in our area. So it is certainly not something, you know, there'll be some people that just pay agents to put their home on the MLS. It's a flat fee because they feel it's so important. And I mean, it's not something I'm interested in doing because again, I want to really market the property to the full potential of it. It's certainly, I guess, an option for some agents.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, all of these things, we do work with our sellers to come up with these different ways that the properties are used and who we can market to and how they, you know, what they love best about their neighborhood and how that might determine a niche kind of buyer for the property. So all of this is wonderful, but do be aware that our job is not simply just
To exact, and I think that's
putting
what
on
you
the
mean. Like
MLS.
we don't just put in things and be like, all right, done, set it and
Yeah.
forget it, throw that sign in the ground and
If only.
kick
No.
kick my feet up.
Yeah.
It really is all hands on deck
Yeah.
to get a house sold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's all I have for this one.
Yeah, no, certainly please check out the rest of our videos in the seller series. They're especially, please check out Prepping Your Home for Sale. That is number one. Yeah, please check out our other videos. We're going to add some more as we go along, probably on 1031 exchanges and some different marketing information. So subscribe and like our channel so that you can continue to get updated when we bring more videos out.
And don't hesitate to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Our contact info's all over the place, this video and everywhere else. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions for yourself.
Thank you so much.
Bye.